So, folding the hands is one gesture. For example, if someone is exhibiting one or more of the following behaviors, he will likely to be disengaged, disinterested, or unhappy, and this posture is a good example. So, if you see the person is trying to see the floor rather than seeing 90 degrees, or looking at a person who is sitting or standing opposite to him. So, this itself clearly indicates that the person is disinterested on the information that is being passed on or the event that is happening. Next, so this is somewhat like a relaxed posture where being aware of the signs can help you to adjust what you say and how you say it. So you can make him feel more at ease and receptive to your view of point. So the smile being carried on the face really helps to make the other person understand that the person is ready for listening, and sometimes it may be for opinion also or for an agreement. So this is more of a positive attitude, and the relaxed manner, particularly in interviews, will help the interviewer to think positive about the candidate. So this posture where the person is sitting and looking at the floor, so sitting slumped with heads downcast, so here too maybe due to some worries or the thought is somewhere else, not in the present situation, and trying to think about something which is unhappy or disappointing event, or as the case may be, and that could be one of the reasons why the person is looking at the floor, and it's more of a discomfort gesture, and it is not part of a respect or maybe trying to honor the other person. Next, behavior. This refers quite simply to everything we do which is overt or observable. It is important because it is observable to others. So, in psychology, behavior consists of an organism's external reactions to a particular environment. So, it can be treated as emotions, thoughts, and other internal mental processes, and don't usually fall under the category of behavior, and there are more options to look at, and behavior may be modified according to positive or negative reinforcements from the organism's environment or according to self-directed attentions. In human psychology, the reward or punishment of behavior is often based on social norms. Someone may be ostracized from a group or included in the group based on his or her behavior. A smile from one individual to another could indicate that he or she approves of what the other is doing or saying. So it is a matter of conveying something. In this way, human behavior is regulated and norms are established that let us know what is normal or abnormal behavior, and even what is acceptable or not acceptable. So the word behavior derives largely determined by his or theoretical framework. Behaviorists such as John Watson are famous for seeing behavior as the be all and end all of psychology, and behaviorism considers behavior to be the only objective phenomenon of psychology, and thus the only reliable information on which to base predictions of future behaviors. Behaviorism developed in the late 19th century as a response to the theories of introspection and psychoanalysis, which relied on the observation of internal states of mind and emotions to understand one's conscious experience. So one can imagine the entire understanding of friends and family on their behaviors alone. Most people tend to take into consideration a person's motivation, thoughts, and feelings when interacting with each other. Cognitive psychologists also thought that these internal mental processes were important, and so they challenged the authority of behaviorism in the mid 20th century. However, cognitive psychologists still criticize introspection for not being an objective way to study psychology and instead developed scientific methods for studying thoughts, feelings, and awareness. So, cognitive psychologists generally believe that internal processes interact with behavior rather than being controlled by the other. Emotions. It refers to states such as happiness, depression, and anxiety, and milder moods such as feeling of pleasure and displeasure, degrees of excitement or drowsiness, etc. An emotional cue is a facial expression, body movement, or tone of voice indicative of emotion. And it can also be termed as feelings such as happiness, love, fear, anger, or hatredness, which can be caused by the situation that you are in or the people you are with. Emotion is a part of a person's character that consists of their feelings as opposed to their thoughts. It is a complex experience of consciousness, bodily sensation, and behavior that reflects the personal significance of a thing, an event, or a state of affairs. And as per Aristotle, emotions are all those feelings that so change men as to affect their judgments and that are also attended by pain or pleasure, such are anger, pity, fear, and the like with their opposites. Emotion is indeed a heterogeneous category that encompasses a wide variety of important psychological phenomena. Some emotions are very specific insofar as they concern a particular person, object, or situation. Others, such as distress, joy, or depression, are very general. Some emotions are very brief and barely conscious, such as a sudden flush of embarrassment or a burst of anger. Others, such as long-lasting love or simmering resentment or protracted, lasting hours, months, or even years, in which case they can become a durable feature of an individual and individual's personality. An emotion may have pronounced physical expression or accompaniments such as facial expression, or it may be invisible to observers. An emotion may involve conscious experience and reflection as when one wallows in it, or it may pass virtually unnoticed and unacknowledged by the subject. An emotion may be profound in the sense that is essential to one's physical survival or mental health. An emotion may be socially appropriate or inappropriate. It may even be social obligatory. Example, feeling remorse after committing a crime or feeling grief at a funeral. Accordingly, there is an enormous range of emotions, and even within the same emotion families, there is considerable variation. Panic and fear, for example, are often thought to be kindred emotions. But there is a significant difference between the panic that is manifested in an irrational fear or a phobia and an intelligent fear, such as the fear of nuclear war, which requires a good deal of information and analysis. Terror and horror, two other kindred emotions, are nevertheless distinct from fear. Or consider the huge family of hostile emotions akin to anger, rage, fury, hatred, resentment, contempt, loathing, and scorn, to name just a few. All of those emotions are interestingly different in the structure and in their appropriate contexts, as are members of the self-critical family, which include shame, embarrassment, guilt, remorse, and regret. The great variety and abundance of emotions suggests that the category of emotion may not be a single class of psychological phenomena, but a large family of loosely related mental states and processes. For the sake of simplicity, researchers and lay people alike often divide the emotion into those that are positive and those that are negative. Even scientific researchers call those qualities of an emotion as affective valence. But the complexity of emotion renders such opposition suspect. Although love and hate, for example, are often conceived of as polar opposites, it is worth nothing, as the plots of so many novels and dramas have made it clear that they frequently coexist not as opposites but as complements. Moreover, love is often painful and destructive, and hatred sometimes can be positive. As the American psychologist Sheila Summers asked, it's hatred of evil a negative emotion, but an emotion like anger, another so called negative emotion, shows the futility of such a classification. Anger is indeed a negative feeling, if not a hostile one, directed towards another person, but it can be edifying for the person who is angry, and in the appropriate context, a context in which one ought to be angry, it can have beneficial effects on a situation or a relationship. Thus, the feminist movement took a major step forward when women realized that they had a right to be angry and much to be angry about. So, it may be, as Aristotle has noted, emotions are accompanied by pleasure or pain or even both, but they are too complex and often too subtle to be classified on that basis alone.